Hi there. So last week I talked about that the president of Congo, Felix Tshisekedi, was set to visit China for a mineral trade deal worth 6 billion US dollars. And in the video I said that the deal was about cobalt and copper. And the mines are in Congo, and Congo wants Chinese companies backed by the Chinese government to come to Congo and exploit these minerals. And then in exchange, Congo wants other Chinese companies to come to Congo and construct roads and infrastructure in that country. And the infrastructure or the deal is worth 6 billion US dollars. So that happened because late last week he went to China, and this particular visit kind of got world attention. It got a wide attention from all over the world. It was mentioned and covered by major international media houses. I'm going to show you right here next.
And DR Congo is planning to boost its stake in a cobalt and copper joint venture with Chinese firms. Kinshasa currently gets a little over 30% of the deal, but wants that more than doubled. Rejigging the lopsided pact will be at the top of the agenda when President Felix Tshisekedi heads to China for a 5-day visit later this week.
So you can see it was covered widely. Even in China, the major media houses covered it all the way from the moment the president of Congo landed at night in Beijing to the moment the next day he went to meet with the Chinese president, and even during the signing of these deals. And I'm going to show you that in the videos above so that you understand how critical and important this deal is for both countries. For example, for Congo, according to the Congolese president, the previous regime or the previous government of Joseph Kabila had struck a deal with Chinese companies where they were to issue cheaper license to these companies in exchange for kickbacks and bribes. So in other words, for example, in one of the mines, they had issued a 512 million US dollar license to extract cobalt in exchange for kickbacks and bribes from the same company. Now, that license was revoked by the current president, and in the new deal, this company is supposed to pay 2 billion US dollars for the same license for the same mining operation. So that is the deal. That's what they signed. And it was covered all over. As I said, the medias in China covered it. China State Television covered it. Even other media houses. Now, it is important to the Chinese because China wants to position itself as the leading manufacturer of electric vehicles, because the future is electric. And a lot of countries from Europe, from the US, even in Africa, want to reduce the amount of emissions that we release using petrol or diesel to now move to electric. And today, China is the leading manufacturer of electric vehicles by volume. As a matter of fact, last year, China was the leading country that exported the largest volume of cars than Japan for the first time in history. So China passed Japan in volumes of exported vehicles. And I know a lot of people asking, but we never see Chinese cars where we come from. Oh, let me tell you, China is exporting millions of electric buses that are being used in major cities across the world. I'm convinced some of you know about this already. So they know about these electric buses that are now in most major cities where they have mass transit. They are running electric buses to reduce the amount of emissions. As a matter of fact, where I come from, in the city I come from, I've rode on one of them. I'm not saying we have a mass transit, but we definitely have some few of those buses from BYD, which is a company in China. And then I've seen the vehicles themselves, the SUVs that are also electric from China. But what you have to understand is that China wants also to be the leader in battery technology, electric vehicle batteries, and of course the leader in all batteries for electric gadgets, because today we have smartphones, we have laptops, and all these smart gadgets that are running on these lithium batteries. And the two components or the raw materials of lithium or lithium batteries are lithium and cobalt. And lithium, most of it comes from Colombia and Zimbabwe. And the country that has the license to those ones are obviously Chinese companies. And then they go to China and refine this lithium. And now they're also getting the cobalt, taking it to China to refine it, and then selling the raw materials to the likes of Tesla, because Tesla claimed that they make their own battery at a gigafactory in I think Houston, Texas. But what they don't tell everyone is that the raw materials that go into that battery come from China. The refined final cobalt and lithium that is ready to be put inside those battery cells is from China. And China gets it from Zimbabwe, Colombia, and now Congo. So basically that's why this deal was followed closely by almost every country that is interested in this. And China has now the keys to the future.